On my birthday, I panicked when I saw my stepmom wearing the exact same outfit with me. Diana, are you seriously going to dress like me for my birthday? Come on, Oliver. We both look great. Although I tried to convince her, she refused to change into a different outfit. It's so embarrassing. After thinking for a while, I went back to my room, quickly fixed my dress and added some accessories. Now I look even more beautiful than her. Thought everything would be fine from there, but no. While my friends were taking pictures, she kept trying to take my place. She even took off her jacket to stand out more. What the heck? I pushed Diana away and tried to pose for the cameras. Our battle only ended when she slipped and fell on top of me. Hi, my name is Oliver. Diana is my dad's girlfriend. Over a month ago, she moved in with us. After more than 6 years since my mom's death, I felt elated when my dad finally dated again. However, having someone move in with us was not easy, especially with someone like Diana. She seemed to have a particular obsession with her looks. Although she was nearly 50 years old, Diana still dressed and behaved like a teenage girl. One day, my dad decided to organize a party to invite all his colleagues to attend. Before it started, Diana unexpectedly asked me to go shopping with her. We're finally going to have a great time. Dad also said it would be a good opportunity for us to get closer, so reluctantly, I accepted. That day, we went shopping together to choose party dress. After 1 hour, I finally found a dress that suited me. When I tried it on, I looked unbelievably good. You look amazing! It was made for you! The salesman helped me to zip the lock while constantly praising my appearance. Suddenly, Diana asked to try on that dress. The shocked salesman tactfully suggested she choose another dress that was more suitable because obviously, the one I was wearing was too childish for her age and small for her size, but Diana got angry and scolded them because she thought she was being body shamed. At that point, I felt very uncomfortable. I didn't understand why she wanted to be so ridiculously young. But then, because Diana treated me alright and she was my dad's soon-to-be wife, I decided to give her that dress before she lunched at that poor salesperson. On the day of the party, Diana wore that new dress and went with my dad to greet the guests. But somehow, she seemed strange. She looked suffocated and moved with difficulty all the time. Diana, are you alright? Not really. The dress is too tight around my waist. I can't breathe. I told you so. Do you want to change? Nope, I'm fine. I can do it. But disaster struck when my dad took Diana to greet his boss. She held her breath and smiled so naturally. But because my dad and his boss talked way too long, Diana couldn't hold it anymore. She let out a big breath, causing the button on her stomach to snap out. It shot the wine glass, then flew to the chandelier, hit the vase, then flew right into the boss's eyes, sending him falling on his back. Needless to say, he was furious. He covered his dark eye with his hand and left immediately. My dad was very angry and embarrassed by what Diana did. He scolded her so harshly that Diana burst into tears and rushed to her room. Seeing her so sad, I felt very pitiful for her. I decided to pull Dad to her room to help them make up. Diana, I'm so sorry for what happened to you, but I don't understand why you keep trying to make yourself look like a young girl. In tears, my stepmom began to confess. Turns out her previous marriage was ruined because her ex-husband called her old and boring. That's why, when she began to go out with my dad, she tried desperately to dress younger. When she saw that I had a good taste in fashion and was admired by everyone, she tried to imitate me. I just want to be loved. I'm sorry if it caused trouble for everyone. After knowing the truth, Dad and I comforted Diana and advised her to be more confident. We love Diana for who she is, not because of her looks. Diana was so happy to hear that. She gradually became more confident and no longer tried to dress like young girls. I'm glad things are getting better now.
Hurry up! There is no place for losers in our family. Who arrives last will have to walk home on her own. Mom yelled and blew her whistle repeatedly, urging us to finish our lap. Even though I couldn't breathe and my legs were constantly shaking from fatigue, after hearing what she said, my sister Emily and I still kept running. In the end, Emily won. After crossing the finish line, we both fell to the ground, barely able to breathe. Sorry, July. Seems like you'll have to walk home today, Emily told me wearily as I sighed in frustration. Soon after, Mom left me alone at the stadium and drove away with my sister. Hi, I'm July. My mom was a professional track and field athlete. After retiring, she became our personal coach. It was horrible because she was strict as hell. There was no failure in her dictionary. Ever since I was little, Mom always made me and my sister compete with one another. The winner would take it all, and the loser would receive punishment. To get what we wanted, Emily and I always had to compete with each other, even if it was for toys, bedrooms, or clothes. Most of the time, we competed by running. Only competition makes you stronger, was what Mom always told us. Gradually, Emily and I considered each other as rivals on both the field and in daily life. As the state track and field competition was coming up, my sister and I were the leading contenders for the 5-kilometer gold medal. In order to raise our fighting spirit, Mom set one condition. Listen carefully. If Emily loses, you won't get to see your boyfriend again. If July loses, you'll have to drop out of your art class. Not stopping there, Mom said whoever lost wouldn't get to see Dad. That's terrible. Since their divorce, Dad only came home on his birthday, and that was the only time we could see him. Although my sister and I strongly objected to that, Mom didn't waver. In the end, we gave in and once again became rivals. From that day on, Emily and I practiced days and nights. Neither of us wanted to lose. On the day of the competition, when I entered the dressing room, I saw Emily doing something very suspicious. What are you doing? Nothing. I'm just rearranging my stuff. After a few minutes of warm-up, we got to the starting line. When the gunshot rang out, all the athletes rushed forward. However, while running, I started noticing something wrong with my shoes. Something inside was hurting my feet. I tried to run a few 100 meters more, but it was too much to bear. Having no other choice, I stopped in the middle of the field to the surprise of everyone. As I took off my shoes, small pebbles started coming out. I panicked as I recalled my sister's shady actions that morning. Unbelievable! She must have resorted to that dirty method to win. I furiously threw my shoes aside and ran after my opponents. Anger and competitive spirit greatly fueled my strength. After each lap, I gradually closed the distance and caught up with the athletes. In the last 500 meters, only Emily and I were leading. Remembering how my sister pulled a dirty trick on me, it made me want to win even more. In the last 50 meters, when I sped past Emily and was so close to the victory in front of me, all of a sudden, a thudding sound resounded from behind me. Emily had tripped. She was sprawled on the ground with a large wound on her shin. Despite her best efforts, Emily couldn't stand up anymore. I looked at the finish line, which was just a few feet away from me, then looked back at my injured sister. I took a deep breath, sighed, then decided to go back and help my sister up. Are you crazy? Just run to the finish line! Emily, you're a pain in my butt, but you're more important than that damn gold medal. And just like that, I abandoned the race and helped my sister up as Emily burst into tears. After the race, needless to say, Mom was enraged. You idiot! You lost on purpose! I firmly said. Mom, we're family, and we're tired of you forcing us to fight each other. Emily also agreed. If you don't stop your unreasonable punishments, we'll have to find ourselves a new coach. Facing our fierceness for the first time, Mom had to back down. Now, Emily's life and mine are easier. We love each other and won't allow Mom to make us fight ever again.
I panicked when I saw my dad burn all of my skating gear. Immediately, I rushed over, trying to stop him. Are you out of your mind? Give a figure skating, Venus. You won't get any results with it. He coldly turned and walked away, leaving me desperately holding on to my scorched shoes. I understand why my dad hated that sport so much. It was because of my mom. She was a professional skater. Because she wanted to develop her career, less than 2 months after I was born, my mom hastily abandoned us and left. It made dad hate mom and her passion so much. As the school principal, my dad favored the school hockey team. Every year, he spent tons of money on his greatest pride. Meanwhile, my figure skating team didn't get any attention. To justify his actions, Dad said that because the skating team's performance was so poor, it wasn't worth the school's investment. But didn't he know that because of the lack of investment, my team couldn't improve? Not to mention, it had been 3 months since our coach retired. We had to practice on our own without guidance. Not only that, we were only allowed to practice for a certain amount of time. If the time was over, the ice rink's power would be cut off. How ridiculous! That day, when we were practicing on the ice, all of a sudden, the hockey team approached us. Max, the captain, said haughtily, "Girls, get out. The rink belongs to us." What do you mean? Don't you know, your dad just got rid of the skating team. He allowed us to practice here full time. Someone seemed to have been forsaken by her dad. A member of the hockey team mocked me, followed by a round of laughter from them. Since I couldn't stand their bossy attitude, I decided to take revenge on those mean guys. As soon as the hockey puck was placed in the middle of the field, I rushed and snatched it in front of Max. He shouted angrily, "What are you doing? If you're any good, come and get it back." I put a cocky face to annoy him. Immediately, Max furiously slid towards me. I easily avoided him by wriggling past the members of the hockey team. My physical strength may not be as good as Max, but obviously, I was better at balancing and skating than him. Right after that, we were sent to the principal's office for disturbing the practice time. Even though I tried to explain, my dad only listened to Max. After thinking for a while, he coldly said, "It's time for the skating team to disband. I don't want that sport in the school." I was shocked by his words. It's unimaginable that he actually disbanded us. To protest against his decision, my team and I laid down together on the ice rink. We were determined not to leave until he changed his mind. But soon after, Dad called security to drag us out. But that's not all. A few days later, we got bad news. Except for me, everyone who participated in the protest was suspended from school for 1 week. I was surprised at first, but then I quickly realized he was trying to separate me from the rest of the team. And indeed, they started isolating me. They said I was favored even though I was the leader of the protest. Under his pressure, each member of the skating team began to leave. Although I was alone, every night I would secretly sneak out to the rink to practice. Every October, my school will hold sports competitions and invite professional sports teams' managers to visit. It's an opportunity for the most talented students in the school to receive training offers from those teams, including the figure skating team. I decided to give it my all to impress Team USA because it was the only way for me to continue my figure skating dream. That day, when I was secretly practicing, the rink light suddenly came on. Thinking that I had been discovered by the security guard, I quickly ran away. "Wait!" As the voice came out, I turned around and realized it was Max. "Teach me your moves." Needless to say, I was surprised. Turns out, after our competition the other day, he was fascinated by my skating technique. Max wanted me to teach him that movement. In return, he wouldn't let my dad know about me being here. Will you keep your promise? Of course. I was at a disadvantage anyway, so even if I didn't want to, I still agreed to teach him. One day when practicing, I asked Max to hold a stick with 2 hands and only skate with 1 foot. He reluctantly obeyed, but then very soon, Max lost his balance and fell to the ground. Are you sure it's the right way to practice? It looks dumb. Don't blame it, blame your stupidity. After hearing that, Max angrily left. I quickly chased after him for fear that he would tell my dad my secret. Because I was in such a hurry, I forgot to lock the ice rink. And as a result, someone snuck in and ruined everything. The next morning, my dad immediately launched an investigation to find out what had happened. While I was afraid of being exposed, suddenly Max stood up and admitted forgetting to lock the door. I was so surprised that I looked for Max right after that. Why did you take the blame for me? If I promise something, I'll definitely keep it. Since then, I've grown to be fond of Max and we got along better. We practiced together regularly. I shared with Max my story and he encouraged me to continue pursuing my dream. But then, all my hopes were broken when a few weeks later, Dad suddenly announced that the skating competition would be replaced with a hockey competition instead. It was an important event, so he wanted to show off his best team and attract investment from sponsors. Knowing how devastated I was about it, Max came to comfort me. When I told him I would quit, he suddenly got angry. That's not the Venus I know. Venus is the kind of girl who will rush into the middle of the hockey team to claim justice for herself. Max's encouragement gave me a bold idea. During the match's halftime break, I could steal the spotlight to perform with my skating team in front of the audience and sponsors. But I realized my team and I had stopped contacting each other. At my most depressing moment, Max surprised me again. You've gone too far to stop now. If you need a partner, I'll accompany you. On the day of the match, we went to the ice rink. After his team finished the first half and it was time for break, to the surprise of my dad and the audience, Max and I walked into the middle of the ice rink in our skating suits. We seemed to become one and gave our best to the performance. Whenever we performed difficult movements, the audience applauded non-stop. In the end, Max and I finished the show with great success. When we left the ring, my dad immediately came to me.